Put the lights down, now check out. I'm just here to take what's mine. I'm the greatest of all time.
Hi, this is GMac for the Razor Company, and today's shave will be dedicated to the Parker Shaving Company. There's a reason for it. I have covered a 3-piece Parker razor in the past. I really loved it. Very functional, really affordable, great quality. So let's talk a little bit about the Parker Shaving Company, before we can get to the actual razor itself. Now, the Parker Shaving Company was started in 1973 by Jagdish Grover. And Jagdish Grover, of course, belongs to the Grover family, which is Indian. And for the last so many years, well, since 1973, the Grover family has really, managed and controlled everything to do with the manufacturing, marketing, sales, operations of the company. And some of the employees, of course, have stayed with them for more than 20 years, some for as long as 25 years. And that just goes to show the kind of the kind of bosses they are, more importantly, how passionate they are about razor making, how passionate they are about respecting and keeping, their loyal employees. So hats off to them. Let's get straight down to business with the razor itself. For today's shave, I'm going to be using the Parker Variant Open Comb. That's the razor. As you can see, it's very much like a bit like I would say, the timeless razor's head with that T, as you can see, and a little bit like the Merkur Progress as well. This is an open comb where, the comb actually curves inwards, and the finish on this is electroplated graphite. It's 115 grams. If I'm not mistaken, it's about 4 inches. So it's very comfortable if you hold it. It's extremely comfortable, and I think it's just one of those razors that really, interests me. Now, the Parker Variant, when it first came out, the closed comb version, it had a lot of issues. There was blade alignment issues, uneven exposure on both sides, and then, of course, they had a new rundown of those razors, and a lot of shavers swore by that. I never had one. I've never shaved with one. So for me, this is going to be the first Parker adjustable that I'm using. Let's open up the razor itself. It's very simple. You just have to, the numbers, as you can see, are right down here. I don't know if you can get a clear view of it, but the dot that you can see here, that's where you align the numbers, so you know what blade gap, or rather, whether it's aggressive or less aggressive. So let's open it up. You just have to, go anti-clockwise and then pull off the head once it gets fully loose. So there it is. It's actually a 2-piece razor. Now, the handle is brass, electroplated finish, that graphite. It kind of shines. It's got a bit of a diamond-like finish. And the head, of course, if I'm not mistaken, is zinc alloy, or as we lovingly call it, Zamac. Let's talk about the blade loading. Now, when you are loading the blade, you've got to make sure that there's a little line here that you can see. So this line has to align with the line that is on this side. Otherwise, it won't sit properly. For the blade today, I'm going to be using the Parker Premium Platinum. This is made, if I'm not mistaken, by Sandvik of Sweden, and using Swedish steel. And the stainless steel, of course, blade has got chromium, tungsten, and I think platinum, as the coating. Really, really good blades, very forgiving. I really like them. And you can get, the Parker razors, as well as you can get the blades at the Razor Company. Very, very easy to pick them up. So let's go ahead straight with loading the blade itself. And I'm going to try and probably go with a setting of maybe 3, just to be safe. I normally do like aggressive razors, but I've never used this one before, so I don't want to be taking a chance as such. So just to look at it, so once the blade is fully, sitting inside, you've got to check that your razor is at, now if I can see it, it's probably on its lowest setting. So on its lowest setting, as I can see, you really have to actually, you got to go a little close for those numbers. They're not very, very, I don't know if you can see them, but they're not, you really have to look in. I would suggest you could probably paint it with a little bit of black or red just to make it more clear. But I do like the fact that the mechanism sits at the bottom and not right here at the top. So now this is probably the mildest. It's at 1. It does have a bit of blade overhang, as you can see, this protruding here from this side. But let's go with a setting of 3. So I'm going to just loosen it up a little bit till I get to that 3. And it goes all the way till 5 and probably a little more than that as well. So that's 3. I don't want to push it too much. I mean, I would love to, just to kind of confirm it has even exposure on both sides. I would love to go with a setting of 5, but I had a bit of skin irritation from one of the soaks that I was using previously, maybe fragrance burn. Let's get down to the other parts of the shaving gear. So for the blades, I said there was a Parker blades. I'm going to be using the Mastro Miche shaving stick, which I've of course grated into this container, just to give you a look at what actually comes on the shaving stick. It's written on it, Revisited Rive Gauche, which is actually the YSL Rive Gauche homage. And it's a very, very popular shaving stick, still kind of legendary in a way. I used to love Sir Irish Mousse, and if you're a fan of the Sir Irish Mousse stick, leave a comment below, tell me about it. Do you still have one? Do you still use it? And how do you like the Mastro Miche when it compares to that? If you can't get that, well, I had to settle for something, so I grated it down and then just compressed it into this, so it was easy for me to brush load or scoop. I'm not a fan of really, putting the stick onto my face. For my bowl, I'm going to be using the Hendrix Classics stainless steel bowl. And for my brush, I've got a little bit of lather going in there. I'm going to be using the Razorock Hive, as you can see. It's the Hive 24, or very simply, it's a 24 millimeter knot. We'll let you get a better look at it later. So before we get down to the shave itself, just a quick reminder, all the gear that is being used today, you can let me know about it. What are your experiences with the Parker Variant razors or with Parker razors? How do you feel about the Parker Variant OC, or that's the open comb razor, which is, according to a lot of people, kind of like the Progress. Some like the Mercury Progress better, some like the Parker Variant open comb better. So what is your experience? Leave a comment below. Tell me a bit about the Razorock brushes. Are you a fan of them like I am? I do have a bit more expensive brushes, but for me, Razorock always stands out as some of the best shaving brushes I've ever used. So tell me about it. Would love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and I will reply to it. I forgot to introduce you to one main part of the shave, and that is the aftershave. I'm going to be going with Clubman Pinaud. If you think that it looks like a pint, it is. It's about 370 ml. And the reason why I put it in this glass bottle is, well, not a fan of plastic bottles. I always like, because there's alcohol inside it. So, just find a bottle, wash the bottle out, rinse it, dry it nicely, and then you can get your aftershave in there. So let's get on with the first pass. And it'll be interesting to see how this works, because my first time with the Parker Variant OC. And to be fair, my first time with the Mastro Miche as well. If you want the Mastro Miche, well, pre-shave soap, it's fantastic and it's available at the razor company. You can pick that up. So many of these products, including the Clubman Pinaud, is available with TRC. So just go to the website, you put in the names and you'll get it there. So just hardly had this, working for less than a minute. We've got a decent lather going. So let's start off with the first pass itself. Well, that's how it looks. Creamy enough for me. It's got a nice cooling kind of effect, the Rive Gauche Revisited, and if you're a fan of the YSL, fragrance, you will actually like this. It's very refreshing, very mild, a bit old school if you ask me. It's not like those modern day fragrances either tend to be too woody, too leathery, too much of tobacco, too floral, too spicy. I'm not complaining. I mean, I do like them. But something about the old school fragrances, they had a particular scent profile that they stuck with, and then they didn't veer away from it. If you haven't got yourself, I'm always praising them, but if you haven't got yourself a Razorock brush, go ahead and do it. Even if you have really expensive Badgers and really expensive synthetic brushes, you have to experience a Razorock. Absolutely great performers, never fail to deliver. There's a bit of a creaminess to this soap that's maybe because of the, probably the coconut oil content, if I'm not mistaken. But it feels almost like you're using a cream. I'm actually good to go with the first pass. Just clear the neck area. This is going to be an interesting shave. So here we go. First pass with the Parker Variant Open Comb. Could have gone with the faux. There's a funny thing about adjustables. Some shavers like to start off with a very high bit of aggression, like maybe on 6 or maybe on 5, and then they drop it for the second pass and a clean up to 2. Some shavers go the other way around. They start off with a 3 and then up it to 5 for the second pass. But I mean, whatever makes you happy or whatever works for you. I'm going to stick with the 3. It's super smooth actually. Bit of audio feedback. You just have to make sure that you've got the angle right on this. It's not really difficult to find. I'm guessing it's a normal 30-degree angle, but because it is an open comb, I feel it's a lot more efficient than the closed comb would be, but I can't judge that because I haven't used the closed comb. I'm just going by feedback from friends. That angle, yeah, it's like a 30-degree, isn't it? It's a very, very smooth razor with the grain. Doesn't feel like an open comb, and that's probably because those, the teeth are curved inwards. Just feels really nice. I don't know if you're a fan of the Timeless Open Comb Slim. I am. Huge fan. But it feels, just the razor head design is a tad bit like that. That's one of the benefits, of an adjustable. You can dial up or down during your shave. You don't need to stick with, one particular, setting. I always try and well, use a bit of caution when I'm shaving with the razor for the first time, just because I want to know the razor, and that's so important. At the end of the day, the razor, no matter how good or bad it is, or how it works for you or doesn't, it's a tool in your hands, and you really are the one that controls, how it works in your face. Get to know your razor. I have a few friends who, oh, that's actually clean. Wow. I have a few friends who, buy a brand new razor, buy into the hype, and then they use it like maybe once or twice and they decide it's not for them. I'd say that's a big mistake. Everybody gets a chance. Give your razor a chance too. Try a few different blades with it. If you're using an adjustable, try different settings. Give that razor some time. Spend some time with it. And you'll be amazed as to how that particular razor could perform for you. So we're done with the first pass. Let's go to a very quick check. I think I can go for a second pass. Not too much of slickness that the soap leaves behind. Residual slickness, don't sense much of that, but a little bit. But it's a fun stick to use, so I would highly recommend it. And once you get the water on it, you can see the soap's still there. Wow, that's pretty interesting. So let's get on to our second pass. I forgot to show you the Parker box that it came in. This is, an eco-friendly box. Well, no use of plastic. It's, if I'm not mistaken, it's made from recycled board, cardboard, probably. But works for me. It just goes to show that the company is thoughtful, cares about things. So on to our second pass, and once again we see that lather in there. So as I said earlier, tell me a little bit about what you think about these brushes. The Razorock Hive, it's slightly prickly. It's not as soft as the Mokasoft fibers, but it splays very nicely. I was just kind of trying to show you that earlier, so it's just got a tad bit of scrub on it, a bit like a badger. I don't use badger, but I get that that's how they normally perform. Oh, let me put it this way, I've used boar before, so a little bit like boar bristles. But once you splay it, it's extremely soft. And there we go, we're good for, there's still a lot left in there. Just had a teaspoon going, so it's quite a bit actually. On to the second pass. And, well, I do like this razor. It just feels really nice, feels really smooth. So here we go. I've just kept it on that 3 setting. I didn't want to change that. So if you haven't got yourself a Parker razor, you're really missing something. Don't go by the cost. They're really affordable. They're priced such so that everyone can use a D razor, and I really like that kind of a philosophy. I like that the company's mission is not just to sell razors, but also to make sure that if you can't afford to buy a really high-end, a big boy razor as such, you still can get a shave that is close to it. In this case, I'd say even better. I said this earlier, I'm not a big fan of adjustable razors. I'm the kind that will probably, today I've used the 3 setting, and I'm probably going to keep that setting if I really like it, or just up it to 4. I don't swap between settings, just not my kind of thing. Having said that, you can do it with this razor, and that's one of the benefits that you have with the Parker Variant. So, I really like this razor, I really do. It's very, very comfortable, very smooth. Just trying to clear the lather. It shouldn't be a problem really, but I'm not using the tap today. Wasn't getting those track marks earlier, but I am now, which is fairly interesting. That happens with open comb razors. Well, you don't put too much of pressure on this razor as well. It's a bit lighter than stainless steel, especially since the head is not that heavy. But I would say don't add pressure. Now that is absolutely clean. That's BBS on both sides. 3 days growth was not too much, but the very fact that it really works to clean up, well, that makes me a happy camper. Just need to do a clean up on the upper lip area, and I think we should be pretty much good to go. Finally got it cleaned. I thought this head would be a problem to get under the nose, but actually it isn't. It was, well, got it off pretty clean. So that was my second pass, and very quickly going to wrap it up with the gear for today, as well as with the aftershave. So very quickly, just wet the face and clean that up. Use the damp cloth this time. So the Mastro Miche soap, really nice, very, very, very nice fragrance. I wouldn't classify this as a high performing, top base or anything like that. This is a fun soap to use, and that's what you need sometimes, right? You need a fun, drama-free shave. You get some of the Mastro Miche products. Get yourself a Razorock brush for that matter. So the soap for today was the Mastro Miche soap, which is, it's called Revisited a Rive Gauche, homage to the YSL Rive Gauche. I've scraped it, I grated it down, and then just compressed it into a container. I was going with the Hendrix Classics and Company shaving bowl. Absolutely love it. The Razorock Beehive, it's a Razorock Hive 24. I do love this brush very, very much. And for the blades, of course, I went with the Parker. Very forgiving. They can be a little bit sharp, and I can feel how close that razor got, but they won't cut you that easily. Lovely blades. Let's get down to the aftershave itself, but before I do that, the star of the show, in this beautiful little thoughtful box, the Parker Variant Open Comb. Absolutely love this razor. Probably this is the first adjustable that I really, really like. Don't forget, if you get it for yourself, you have to align those two parts together where you have the 2 points, those two lines, meet each other. The adjustment is right down here on the base. Terrific razor. This is a keeper for me, and I'm actually glad I've got adjustable finally to hang on to or to use in rotation. So Clubman Pinaud. How classic can you get, isn't it? Absolute favorite of mine. I remember it from barbershops when I was young. I still love it. It's got that old school fragrance. That was a massive burn. You know what happens nowadays? I've been using aftershave balms. I've been using cooling balms and healing balms, and I've been neglecting the alum. I've been neglecting aftershaves. So after a long period of time, the good thing about this is I had a little bit of, if you mix Osage Rub and Clubman Pinaud, you get that terrific combination. I forget what it's called, forest green or something like that. But the good thing about this is it's got menthol crystals in it. I chuck them in there. Absolutely love it. It's a beautiful cooling fragrance. So that was a shave for today, dedicated to the Parker Shaving Company, to the global family. Absolutely grateful for all that they've contributed to the wet shaving community. And on behalf of the Razor Company, it's time for me, GMac, to shut shop and ship out of here, to remind you that I'm going to be back with another fantastic product, soap and aftershave, the set that the Razor Company, of course, has in their list currently. But that's for the next video. For now, it's time for me to say bye-bye and happy shaves.